What is a sign of low intelligence? My brother's wife. She isn't technically stupid. Like there are a multiplicity of things that constitute intelligence, and she has some of them. Others are just not there, holes in her head. She does this. She will state something as true. The problem is she never knows anything about what she is talking about. It is fine not to be interested in or knowledgeable about things. But if you're not, don't make weird proclamations about them. And then get super pissed if someone contradicts you. She hates me BTW. We don't speak anymore. I believe this is why. I always disagree with her and make her look stupid. When she told me this, I thought about it and said maybe, but aren't you always wrong? That didn't go well. This is the lady who used to work for me. She'd start ranting about politics and getting upset, and when I was calm and rational, she'd start making it personal about how I thought I was better than her. Then she stole $1,100 on camera and tried to bend the mailbox to make it look like someone else did it. She had access to the cameras. She knew they were recording there. I hear ya. I've met enough of these people in my life. As I got older I kind of stopped correcting people, even when I knew they were wrong. After a while I felt I was becoming correcty McCorrectison, and that wasn't a good feeling either. So now unless they are going to do something dangerous, like inject Lysol, I just let them go on being their dumb selves. They are adults and had plenty of opportunities to learn but never did. That's their problem, not mine. BTW. My Sil is a stone cold idiot too. School psychologist here. Finally an actual answer. I see this too sometimes, but not just with reading to self. I will read a story or a few sentences to a student, and as long as short-term memory is okay, they can say it back verbatim, but they can't paraphrase or answer comprehension questions. Many students with low IQ struggle to make the jump into skill mastery, which begins compounding when their classmates begin learning new skills. That's why our students with low IQ need an IEP. Some assholes published an editorial in a seemingly legit science paper, pay to publish crap, where they hypothesize that 5G generates corona by generating holes. IDK. Some ex-acquaintance who is a science illiterate mask skeptic got it off of some telegram group of right-winger chats and asked me how he could know if this was legit, which was a step up emo. These hacks put a lot of intimidating, probably nonsense formulas in their editorial and no data, and tried to pass it off as legitimate to gullible lay people. If your brain can stand the stupid, here's the paper. People like these should be put in jail, giving fake legitimacy to bullshit like this. I went out with a woman last year who couldn't calculate a 20% discount. I'm not talking internally, I'm saying that even if she had a calculator she wouldn't know what to do. She was a primary school teacher. I was telling a friend how I would calculate a percent 20 tip in my head. I take percent 10 of the bill and then just double it. And he was confused as to how to get the percent 10 point. You literally move the decimal ones to the left. In 6th grade, I got a question wrong on a multiplication tables test. I had answered 8x3 equals 24, and she marked it wrong. I brought it to her attention and she yelled at me for showing everyone where the answers to the book tests were as she showed us where the answers were. The book showed 8x3 equals 25. I told her the book was wrong, and she said that if I said one more thing I was going to the principal's office. I, at the time, was a very passive, quiet nerd who would get in trouble at home for making anything other than a perfect score. Thanks for the unnecessary beating, teacher whose name I don't remember. A lot of the answers here are less low intelligence and more people being assholes or people not learning or respecting social mores. Most of the upvoted stuff here is things you can find equally among IQ 80 people and IQ 130 people. Side note, this is not meant to legitimize IQ as a measure of overall intelligence, because it's not great for that. I think it's important to differentiate between being an intelligent and being an idiot or an asshole. Mental capacity doesn't really map well to beneficial or maladaptive behavior, and that's a good thing. If it did, that'd mean some people were just born fated to be shitheads because they aren't smart enough to be good. But the truth is that even unintelligent people are eminently capable of being great people and possessing deep emotional intelligence. Unfortunately, that means that really smart people can and will also be super asinine or even evil if they fail to learn, or if they learn and fail to apply it, or even apply it in a destructive manner. A lot of stopping this bad behavior, being unwilling to entertain other ideas, falling for conspiracy theories, falling for sunk cost fallacies, getting sucked into tribalism, etc. isn't down to just being smarter, but rather to learning to combat these fallacies and tendencies on an individual level. They are largely vestigial tendencies common to all humans, left over from evolving in an environment that no longer exists for most of humanity. It's a learned skill, and because it's not a terribly complex thing, it's a skill low intelligence people can learn. However, because it is a learned skill and counter to our natural instincts, it's also something even smarter people can just never get around to learning. You can be the smartest guy on earth and not know how to do a thing just because you never had occasion to learn. All that to say, something that's been on my mind a lot lately is how we equate intelligence with overall goodness. If someone is an anti-vaxxer, we say they're an idiot or they're dumb, when what's probably more true, and really, what should be more embarrassing for them, is that they have an underdeveloped skill for discerning truth and recognizing expertise. People who won't wear masks are often called stupid too, but more often the truth is that they've either been fed a drastically different set of false information than us, and or they are willingly refusing to empathize and make a minor sacrifice for a major benefit to others. One half of that problem is an information availability problem, which may well have been constructed and perpetuated with or without their knowledge and assistance, and the other is a problem of lacking empathy. Neither of those is really an intelligence thing, though. So when you run into one of those people, it's much less useful and less devastating to call them stupid, call them thoughtless, call them reckless, call them cold and selfish and unloving. Call them ignorant, if you must, if you don't want to call them deceived or indoctrinated. But don't call them stupid. Even if they are, that's not the reason they're acting that way. Don't give them that excuse. You can't really change someone's basic intelligence, and it's unreasonable to expect them to increase it. Their flaws are things that can be changed and fixed by learning simple skills or willingly engaging their sense of empathy, and that places the responsibility for being better where it belongs, on their shoulders. I have a good friend who legit was diagnosed with low intelligence as a child. He appeared normal and acted mostly normal, but was in classes with Down syndrome kids all the way through high school. He was aware enough to be embarrassed about being in those classes. I also have an aunt who was in a car accident while in her mother's womb. As a result of the accident, she was born with much lower than normal IQ. Firstly, their low IQs are not something they can control, so rather than judge and distance myself, I've tried to be a kind, genuine friend to both of them throughout our lives. A few observations about each of them. Their personalities are polar opposites. My buddy is a redneck loud-mouthed, Trump-loving dude who gets in fights, owns guns, and goes out of his way to antagonize people, just for the fun of it. My aunt is extremely kind-hearted, remembers everyone's birthday, is tender, thoughtful, and empathetic. Now on to the similarities. Not saying these are true for everyone with low IQ, but just observations I have noticed. They both come across as mostly normal, but there is something about them that makes many people uncomfortable. For example, when I was younger, my mom didn't want me to hang out with my buddy because she felt weird around him. They both talk a lot. I mean a lot. They both struggle keeping jobs for very long. They both struggle reading fluently. Even simple concepts are sometimes tough for them to grasp. For example, on one occasion my buddy tried his hand at college. He was taking one of those entry-level college math classes to assess what he learned in high school, and he was really stuck on the greater than or less than problems. His professors and I explained it to him over and over, but he just couldn't grasp the concept, and ultimately he dropped out a few weeks later. Another example is that my aunt had a job where they offered retirement. She couldn't understand the concept that part of her paycheck would be deducted to pay for insurance. Many people explained it to her, but she just never grasped the concept. Both my buddy and aunt get scammed easily. They both struggle with long-term relationships. They are extremely influenced by the opinions of their parents and struggle seeing other points of view. They both are lacking in hygiene and general personal grooming and dress habits. And they both talk of their overly ambitious plans for the future despite not being on a path that will lead to those plans. For example, my buddy legit thinks he will one day be the richest lawyer in the USA. Both are amazing people who I care about deeply. People with low IQs need strong support networks and good friends that can listen and be kind despite some of the negative aspects of their situation. My husband was having a conversation with a friend's boyfriend. He got my husband, which has a master's in international securities studies, on politics. The guy brought up something specific regarding international security and going isolationist, and my husband said, I know a bit about a few things and near nothing about a lot of other things. I don't know much about this specific topic, but I'll do some research and I'll get back to you. The guy's response was, I know a lot about a lot of things and that's the way it is, no matter what research you do. My engineer buddy told me, and I would trust an engineer about politics over someone with your degree any day. I think the inability to accept you are by nature ignorant about most things and a refusal to acknowledge people's strengths and weaknesses is a huge red flag personally. I think it's too hard to say because there are different types of intelligence. You get people who are extremely academic but who are socially inept, or worse, they have high social and academic intelligence but no emotional intelligence and are effectively psychopaths. Academic and social intelligence may help you gain wealth and status, but the happiest and most self-assured people I know tend to be the ones with high emotional intelligence. And there's also crossover. Clever people with swinging bricks for hearts will fake emotional intelligence because society tends to be drawn to and admire these sorts of people. Thanks for watching. In comments, write about similar facts and situations from your life. If you enjoy this video, watch other on my channel, and have a nice day.